decided that all of our objects could sort of connect in a kind of sculptural way. So we have our clothespin that is no longer a clothespin. And this doorknob that has interesting sort of multifaceted element to it. And then if you want to include the birch bark. So we're just going to sort of like just capture all of the elements together, and then, oh actually, we need the tent peg, yeah, to support it.
From planted in the earth.
And I don't know if you want to, we never found, we're just going to put this back here. Pretend you don't see the water. And I'm just going to scatter this so some seeds. So something we took away from the presentation was that at the center of everything that Ian was talking about was student voice. So the initial assignment was to write a poem, and the expression was completely up to the students. So the doorknob, to me, symbolized how it's still, digital technology was sort of like the door to allow the students to have that voice, but the multifaceted nature of this sort of clear glass doorknob meant that the means by which they express themselves is basically endless because of the choice that was presented. And then...
So, before anything can happen, we need to unlock the barriers, right? All those patterns and whatnot for the students, for teaching staff to sit in a hub or place and connect, to express and learn.
Developing and sharing one's voice starts with just acknowledging that one has a voice and one is allowed to have a voice. So it's about empowerment. So in a lot of ways, it's coming out of one's shell. But at the same time, a shell exists in the ocean, which is vast and limitless, and it's going with the flow. And who knows where those waves, which shores that limitless, non-bounded world can take us.
So once the doors are unlocked to this new way of education, we now have empowered students to have new ways of thinking. The feather comes in as being malleable and flexible, having people be able to adapt, people to share their ideas, people learning to move and go along with the flow. So that's going to be added after there.
In order to share the story and generate attention so people can start to see that we are coming together to build this type of knowledge and understanding together, we all need a town crier. So the town crier, loud, will generate energy, attention, and then once everybody's here and working together, the town crier removes themselves. So the town crier is there just to gather the energy and to facilitate the conversations.
And then we have the feather, which is also the constant flow of energy. So again, continually to share ideas and to draw from the knowledge of others and to have it continue flowing as well.
And also, those barriers that exist between the institution with the educators and the students and the parents, there's a community, right? It's pockets outside that already exist. So administrators, educators connecting with the leads in those nonprofit different organizations outside who have already mapped those assets in the community. So the school needs to connect with those people that can connect them to those assets in their community. So it's very important that educators know what is the student population, what are the languages that are spoken, how do you connect, engage with them in those different languages so that they will come to that space, so it is open for people to come and unlock those barriers. And how do you connect with those lead people in those agencies so that if they're doing work with young people there, maybe they can come into your space and work with your students and use the school as a hub because the people are already there. So use that popular education as well, go to where the people or the students are there, right? So that the educator sits back and can facilitate that and have experts come in, like the digital experts, to teach people how to do, so you can step back, let the students do their thing, and come back in when you need to.
And that enters the town crier once again, right? So the town crier is this person, not for the sake of being the focal point, but to generate the attention so that it will happen, and then remove themselves when it's happening, and facilitate, and come back in when they have to bring it back again.
Fantastic. Excellent. Thank you.
This is a branch of cedar to remind all of us that young people and students need to find a space and a natural space to find their own worth and to find their own creative spirit before they can utilize the digital tools they're given to develop those skills. But we don't want them to value the technology before they find value in themselves.
And I was attracted to this stone here because I related to it. If you see me, I wear a lot of jewelry, I wear stones. It was something that I was drawn to. And then what Yun's presentation reminded me of was the importance of the learning experience to be relatable to the students that are in that classroom, in that school. And it also caused me some frustration that students across the city aren't experiencing what, she just presented in her presentation, because it's so, their educational experience is so reliant on the individual teachers. You have 50 different experiences in just one school, and not every teacher, some teachers are so focused on the curriculum and so unwilling to leave that, and that really affects the students' education, because our curriculum is not reflective of the diversity of this country, certainly not this city. And what David reminded me of at the end was that when we throw this stone into water, it can create a ripple effect, and how educators like Yun or like other people might be able to create that ripple effect in their schools and in their communities.
What stood out to us when we were searching for objects of significance was the ability to allow people to share their voices through the power of listening. And I'm a firm believer that in order to share either your own or other voices, you have to enhance your ability to listen to others in order for you to gain your own capacity of knowledge. So we strayed from the normal objects on the table, which we did include, to use these styrofoam cups to symbolize the art of listening, where if, historically within this nation, the manifestation of the telephone was essentially created through, roots of listening through cups for audio communication. In fact, as you uphold the cup to your ear, the natural air around us that we presently can't hear becomes audible because it's now within space. So it represents a change in our ability to listen, because if we change the perspective or ways in which we do listen, we'll be able to hear the things that we previously weren't. And I'll let David explain the significance of our feathers.
Perfect segue to say that digital platforms didn't always exist by magic. They started somewhere and they were improved upon in research. So thank you for that idea. And we entered a fifth table. Again, going back to that acknowledgement that whoever has the feather is the speaker also. I can't tell whether this is an eagle feather or not, but the eagle is the creator's messenger. And, we give messages to the eagle and he carries it to the creator for us. The other thing that helps us get messages to our creator is this is cedar, also tobacco, also sage, and also sweetgrass. Our plants that are used right across Turtle Island to make sure that we always have that conversation with our creator. I should have said at the beginning, I was going to say Sego, Satagaligo, Satagaligego, Wakatsanuniji Wagonga. Hello, I'm happy to be here today. And that message is, if you can, facilitate the exchange of your students with their own language. And that discussion in your own language leads you to think about your culture, leads you to think about your history, and be proud of all that. And, my last offering is a paintbrush. I expected today, and I'm going to be very, very honest, to have this include art. And I haven't really heard that yet, and I offer that art has a tremendous way of engaging students to use that digital platform to see what they're painting, to see what they're sculpting, to see what they're acting and what kind of music they're making. Now I go.
Be told, but I also think of, for students, it's engagement. If you just sat that down and stepped back and just allowed them to observe and use their imagination and not give them anything, just allow them to come up with ideas and then record those ideas and then spur that learning of, let's get our iPads and research what this is. You come up with all kinds of possibilities. So this to me is a story and definite engagement with potential and sharing.
When I was a kid in school, we used to carry our marbles in a bag, and this was a very coveted thing, a purity, right? And but I'm drawn to it because of the dot in the middle, a little air ball in there, and it just made me think about student voice in the sense that the belief that everybody has a voice inside them, and sometimes it's really hard to get at, and sometimes you have to look at it from all different ways to figure out where it is, where it resides, and how you're going to get it out. And that was one of my thoughts about the student voice.
I selected the feather because to me I thought that technology and digital technology could represent the feather in numerous ways, allowing students to have freedom to move where they want to go and have an oversight of new topics and new areas, and also feathers, flocks of birds all have feathers, so students are all, a flock of birds that have the freedom and ability to travel with technology or travel by themselves, and the feather allows them to do that.
I've chosen the beaver, and the reason why I've chosen the beaver is because, as we all know, beavers create dams, but they usually don't create these dams alone. So I believe that the beaver represents the students and them coming together to create that voice, to then project that voice together through digital technology.
And then our piece that we came up with, which spurred on the last point that Dominica, made about create. We thought that the word create sort of brings it all together. So the beavers are able to create. So students can use technology to create something new. The gas mask is able to create a learning environment where students can explore it and engage themselves in history. The technology allows teachers the ability to create potentially a way to get into that bubble. And then the feather is just the idea of students are able to create freedom and create their own way to go. So that's sort of, create was our word that linked us all together.
Nothing.